From Studio 550, this is The McGraw Show on KTRS.
You have to have a much deeper strategy than just building a fence. There has to be much more coordination with local and state law enforcement. There has to be more focus on a virtual fence, which I've proposed as it relates to using GPS technology, drone technologies, other things like that.
I was there at the Arizona border. I was absolutely flabbergasted that there was not more security there. They had these fences. They were the kind of fences that when I was a kid, we used to go over all the time. It was not a problem.
But the people that are here that have not violated the law, who are out there working and part of our communities and our culture, I think they ought to have a path to being legalized.
I'm telling you, it's called management. You can do this, and we can expedite the good ones to come back in. And everybody wants that, but they have to come in legally. We have a country. We're a country of laws. We're a country of borders. How can you have a country without a border? How can you have a country without laws? We have to do it.
621 here, Big 550. President Bush, Jeb Bush, Ben Carson, John Kasich, and of course, the man of the hour, Donald Trump, talking about immigration. Trey Harden with ABC News, political analyst. Trey, I mean, at some point, you got to stop talking about this dead horse and talk about something else around here.
Well, first of all, don't we always find it funny when you hear a Republican politician especially, say we're a nation of laws and we've got to have laws when when it's convenient. When more times than not they're saying we have too many laws and federal government is too big, and it's too. And it has too much power. So it's so interesting. I mean, Trump just contradicts himself on a regular basis. But listen, to his credit, he's controlling the conversation. He's controlling the narrative. He is willing to say what other people are not. I think voters find that refreshing right now. I don't think that translates to the voting booth come election time, but it's something that people want right now. I think it shows that any other candidates right now. They don't want to hear any ping-ponging back and forth about talking about issues. They want to hear these people talk the way Donald Trump is talking, and he's done that in immigration. I think that he speaks for a lot of people in this country about their frustration with the immigration issue. Not that they think that we should send everyone back or support every element of Donald Trump's policy on it, but that there is a problem and it has to be dealt with. And he has talked about it that way. So, and it's clearly showed up in his own polling and his own success.
He stirs the pot, and I think that's what people want right now.
Well, they do, and I mean more so than ever, because they feel that the not stirring of the pot and just talking about how this country has problems and that we're and not really providing solutions to it have been has just gone on too long. And I think that it represents a disgust in this country with Washington and politicians. Again, I don't think that Trump translates to the voting booth, but right now, people find him good for the conversation.
He might not transfer to the voting booth, but he's causing all sorts of troubles, including for Scott Walker, who can't answer or decides to change his answer every 15 minutes on whether or not to repeal the 14th Amendment.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting that Trump threw out the 14th Amendment because it's almost like it was bait for knowing. I don't think Trump is this smart politically, but it's the way it's played out is it's almost been like bait for these candidates to talk about whether they would repeal it or not, or even if some of them fully understand what the 14th Amendment truly is, because Trump is not that technical. I mean, he's already said it. His attitude is the heck with the 14th Amendment, the heck with anything. We're just going to put up a fence and send everyone back. But while he's thrown this bait out for them to talk about the 14th Amendment, he continues to score points by just saying that this is what we have to do. We have to stop illegal immigration, and this is how I'm going to do it. And he scores points where the others don't right now on this issue. So, and it's the Scott Walker example is perfect. I think the Jeb Bush one is as well. he put Jeb Bush in a box on this anchor baby.
But I think Jeb Bush with the anchor baby. I think Jeb Bush gets a little street cred with the right wing of the party by thumbing his nose at those who are offended by the term anchor baby.
I think he does to a certain, without a doubt. I think he does as well too. But the problem is, as you just noted with Scott Walker, Jeb Bush has kind of been back and forth on this as well. You own it. To your point, own it if that's how you feel, and stay with it instead of trying to kind of explain his way out of it, and then finding himself now in a difficult situation with Asian voters. I mean, saying, "Oh, well, I wasn't really talking about Hispanic voters. It's actually more of a case with Asian voters." That's not owning the issue. That's trying to talk yourself out of a trouble, and he's doing that. It's showing the Trump effect, because he's doing that because Trump is continuing to ping him on Twitter about it, and it just shows that these candidates are just reacting so much to Trump, which is not atypical in a political campaign. You're always going to react or kind of manage your campaign based on what the person in the lead is saying or doing. But this is a unique situation, and as I've said before, and you and I've talked about before, I think these candidates need to play their own game and not be distracted by it.
What about Joe Biden? Is he getting in?
Well, if I had to bet right now, I would say it's stronger than a 50% chance. I think we're going to find out later in September, and the reason I would say that is because, one, he wants to. We know that. I mean, he's got the ego for it. He's got the passion for it, but he's also politically smart. They're going to look at it closely, but I think it shows that Hillary's campaign is truly in trouble, and I think that they maybe know more than what the media and public even know about in terms of how these emails and this situation with Hillary is going to play out. I think there is real, genuine concern in the Democratic Party about her candidacy, and it's clear that there's a movement maybe to bring him in and take her place.
I agree. There's a whole lot of worry. We got to go, Trey Harden, but let me ask this question. What are the odds, what has a better chance of Joe Biden getting in or the Washington Nationals coming back and getting into the playoffs?
You're terrible.
Oh, man, it's just so frustrating to watch the Nats right now, but I'd say there's a better chance of Joe Biden getting in. Because
I think there's a better chance of Hillary Clinton getting in.
The Nats put themselves in a difficult spot. The Mets are showing that they're not going to lose. As you know, anything can happen in a month in baseball, though.
That is true. Trey Harden, ABC News Political Analyst. Have a good week, Trey. Thanks.
You too.
8:28 here, Big 550 KTRS.